Samuel stood at the edge of the Thames, his hands weathered and calloused from decades of casting nets into the water. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he felt the pulse of the city transition from bustling chaos to tranquil serenity. The iconic arches of Tower Bridge loomed overhead, a reminder of time's passage and the countless stories that flowed beneath its shadow. As he settled into his rickety boat, the familiar sounds of the city melded with the gentle lapping of water against the hull. Tourists' laughter and distant train whistles softened as twilight embraced the scene. Samuel prepared his gear, the rustle of the tackle box a comforting backdrop to his thoughts. Here, in this secluded spot, he felt connected to the river's rhythms, offering a sanctuary where time felt both suspended and eternal, a perfect prelude to the secrets waiting just below the surface. As twilight settled over the river, Samuel leaned back in his weathered boat, the tranquil sounds of the Thames wrapping around him like a comforting embrace. He often found solace here, a world apart from the city's bustle, where stories wove through the fabric of the water. Born into generations of fishermen, he cherished the tales that spoke of mythical fish shimmering beneath the surface, their scales glinting like secrets waiting to be uncovered. Old sailors, he recalled, had whispered of spectral figures who sailed the foggy waters, seeking redemption for the lives they had lost. With each gentle lapping wave, Samuel felt the presence of those who had cast their lines before him. Their laughter, labors, and loves echoed in the cool evening air. These stories were part of the river's essence, a reminder that beneath the tranquil surface lay currents of history, binding past to present in an unbreakable embrace. As Samuel settled into the familiar rhythm of the evening, he cast his line into the shimmering waters once more, his mind drifting like the gentle current. A sense of tranquility surrounded him, interrupted only by the soft splashes of water and the distant hum of the city above. Then, without warning, he felt an unusual tug on his line, a jolt that electrified his senses. Intrigued, he steadied himself, pulling against the resistance, convinced he had hooked something special. With a grunt of effort, he began to reel in this mystery catch, his heart racing with anticipation. As the object breached the surface, he realized it was not a fish, but an old, ornate locket, glimmering amidst the river's reflections. His fingers trembled as he lifted it from the depths, the unexpected discovery igniting a spark of curiosity deep within him. What stories did this locket hold, and what life had it once belonged to? As Samuel carefully unfurled the locket from his net, his heart raced. He held it delicately in his palm, tracing the intricate patterns etched into the metal. Gingerly, he opened it to reveal a faded photograph of a woman, her smile radiant even in the yellowed hue of age. The inscription, "To my beloved, forever in the tides," pulled at his heartstrings, weaving an invisible thread between them. Samuel's breath caught as the weight of her memory fell upon him. Who was she, and what story lay hidden beneath her serene expression? In that moment, he felt an undeniable connection, as if she was silently asking for someone to remember her, to uncover the love that transcended time and space. Thoughts of the many tales he had heard from the riverbank flooded his mind, stories steeped in enchantment and longing. With the locket cradled between his fingers, he resolved to uncover the truth behind this woman, believing her story would weave itself into his own life beneath the bridge. Samuel stood by the riverbank, the locket still warm in his hand, a tangible link to a life unknown yet achingly familiar. The air thickened with anticipation as he felt a pull to discover the story behind the photograph. He reached out to his fellow fishermen, seeking whispers of the woman captured in the locket's embrace. That evening, beneath the lingering glow of sunset, he gathered with a group of seasoned anglers. Their tales spun like threads intertwining, weaving a fabric of memories and lore. One elder, with eyes like the river's depths, recalled a beauty who once danced along the shores, her laughter mingling with the water's song. As Samuel listened, hope ignited within him. He yearned to understand not just who she was, but how her past resonated through his own life. Something more than mere curiosity drove him. It was the echo of connection, urging him forward into the embrace of history. As the Thames flowed steadily beside him, as the golden hues of twilight deepened, Samuel found himself beneath Tower Bridge, a familiar backdrop shifting into the realm of memories. He would often glance at the elderly residents who sat on nearby benches, their faces a tapestry of stories weathered by time. One evening, he approached a woman named Edith, her eyes sparkling like the river reflecting the fading sun. She was known for sharing whispers of the past, tales of love and loss that floated like leaves on the Thames. "Ah, the locket," she remarked as he recounted his discovery. "That belonged to Mary, a beauty who loved fiercely but was lost to the depths." With each word, Edith painted vivid pictures of Mary, her laughter echoing across the water, her dreams postponed by fate. Samuel listened intently, feeling the weight of connection binding him to this distant heart. The river, he realized, was more than a source of life. It was a keeper of stories waiting to be unearthed. The following evening, with the locket safely tucked in his pocket, Samuel ventured towards the local library, a place he hadn't visited in years. Dust motes danced in the warm sunlight as he entered, and the scent of aged paper filled the air. He approached the archives, enthralled by the potential secrets they might unveil. As he sifted through old newspapers and records, glancing through the faded ink of love letters and obituaries, a narrative began to form. Samuel discovered a fragment about a tragic love story that resonated with the photograph in the locket. It spoke of a woman named Eliza, who had once strolled the banks of the Thames, dreaming of a life filled with adventure. But whispers of heartbreak and loss surrounded her. Each piece of information added another layer to his growing attachment, deepening his resolve to honor her memory and illuminate the shadows clouding her past. As Samuel delved deeper into the woman's story, he found himself reflecting on his own life, on the love he had never fully embraced. Opportunities passed by like ships in the night. Each revelation about her filled him with a bittersweet ache. She had dreams, aspirations, and a world he could now glimpse through faded photographs. The tales of her laughter echoed in his mind, mingling with the haunting whispers of the river. He pondered over the choices he had made, the relationships he had let slip away. Samuel began to see the interconnectedness of their lives, separated by time yet bound by shared human experiences, loss, regret, yearning. With each piece of lore revealed, Samuel felt an invisible thread weaving between him and the enigmatic woman, connecting their souls across the currents of time. This realization ignited a fire within him, urging him to honor her memory by not just fishing in the Thames, but truly living in its embrace. As the winds began to howl and the first drops of rain pattered against the river, Samuel felt an unsettling restlessness in his heart. Each cast of his net seemed less about the catch and more about the locket that had consumed his thoughts. The once soothing rhythm of the river now echoed his internal turmoil, the murmurs of the Thames turning into whispers of doubt and fear. Would searching for the woman's story be worth the emotional toll it was taking on him? Shadows danced beneath the arches of Tower Bridge, seeming to mock the strength he had always found in his fishing routine. He recalled tales of great storms that brought both despair and revelation. This storm felt different. It pressed against him, pushing him toward the brink of decision. The tempest brewing in the sky mirrored the tempest in his soul, forcing him to confront the mysteries that lay not only beneath the waters, but within his own heart. The air crackled with tension as Samuel stood on the edge of his boat, peering into the roiling darkness of the Thames. The storm had intensified, rain slashing at his face like cold daggers, thunder rumbling like an angry giant overhead. Each flash of lightning illuminated his thoughts, pushing him to confront the haunting presence of the locket and the woman inside it. He felt an urgency thrumming through his veins, a pull to return to the very spot where their fates had collided. Heart racing, he recalled the stories he'd uncovered, the laughter, the love, the loss. They swirled together, echoing in his mind as vividly as the churning waters around him. This was not just a quest for answers. It was a rite of passage, a confrontation with his own regrets. As the boat rocked violently beneath him, Samuel steeled himself, ready to face the unknown that awaited beneath the cold, dark surface. Samuel stood beneath the looming arches of Tower Bridge, the storm raging around him as the wind howled like a restless spirit. The locket felt heavy in his hand, pulsating with the stories it held, stories of love and yearning that transcended time. Raindrops mingled with his tears as fleeting memories of laughter and sorrow filled his mind, each wave of emotion drawing him closer to a profound understanding. In this moment, he became acutely aware of the tapestry of lives intertwined with his own, stretching far beneath the surface of the Thames. With a deep breath, he whispered to the tides, pouring every unspoken sentiment into the storm. "You are free now," he murmured, hoping to send the woman's spirit soaring beyond the confines of the past. As the words left his lips, he lifted his hand and gently released the locket into the swirling depths, watching it disappear like a whispered promise. Ready to embrace its destiny, the weight of the ornate locket felt heavy in Samuel's hand as he stood beneath Tower Bridge, the storm raging around him. The wind howled, mingling with the crashing waves of the Thames, creating a symphony of chaos that echoed the turmoil in his heart. With a deep breath, he whispered a final message to the woman trapped in the depths of his thoughts. "You are free now, my beloved. Find peace in the tides." With a swift motion, he released the locket into the raging water. As it plunged beneath the surface, a surge of emotions washed over him: relief, sorrow, and a profound connection to the past he had unearthed. Suddenly, the storm began to relent, as if acknowledging his act of closure. The clouds parted momentarily, and the first rays of dawn peeked through, hinting at the calm that was yet to come, both in the sky and in Samuel's heart. As the storm's fury began to wane, the relentless patter of rain softened into a gentle drizzle, creating a soothing rhythm against the water's surface. Samuel peered into the depths of the Thames, the air thick with both anticipation and release. A vibrant rainbow emerged, its colors shimmering against the backdrop of Tower Bridge, casting an ethereal glow. In that moment of tranquility, an overwhelming sense of peace washed over him, as if the river itself had accepted the locket and the soul it harbored. He felt lighter, unburdened by the weight of the woman's untold story that had entwined with his own. Memories of laughter and loss filled his heart with warmth, and the echoes of the past whispered promises of renewal. Samuel sat back in his boat, surrendering to the embrace of the tide. Each ripple of water seemed to reassure him that life, like the river, continued to flow, each moment a chance for new stories to unfold.